My first full job really was just after university, but whilst I was at university I worked for a small not-for-profit publishers who produced HIV and AIDS awareness publications and delivered them specifically in sub-Saharan Africa. So I worked with them for a couple of days a week, and whilst I was doing that I also signed up with a local recruitment agency so I could build up some office skills and all of those sorts of things. And I always made it very clear to them as well that I was really interested in a publishing role. And it just so turned out about 2 weeks after I graduated, because I'd built up all this experience, I was given a phone call and they said to me that they had a role that had come up with Wiley. So it was a journal publishing assistant within their medical journals list. So I went for the temporary role, and whilst I was there, about 6 weeks later, the full job opened up. I interviewed and got the job. My study was quite traditional really. I studied English and publishing at Oxford Brookes, and whilst I was working for Wiley as well, I did the postgraduate certificate in journals publishing, also at Oxford Brookes. With my current job as a managing editor, my day-to-day is basically looking after, I've got a core list of 21 journals that I have. So I'm the main point of contact for most of my editors and my editorial boards. And within my role in editorial as well, I also work with our production teams, our marketing teams, our manufacturing teams, sales teams, electronic teams, IT teams, and we just all work together to make sure that the journals run smoothly as well. Within my role too, I also look after the finances, so we budget for the journals. Each journal as well has to be treated as a separate business because they all have their little quirks, they all have different personalities on them, they're all different sizes. So each one you do have to treat very individually. I travel quite regularly to conferences, and there my job as well is to meet up with authors, with academics, with people in industry. We need to start socialising these people, we build up our contacts there, and within my job role as well, we're always looking for new prospects too, so that's a key point as well. The skills I think that are most important within the role is communication. That's very, very important. I also think the ability to think on your feet very quickly. Quite often you'll get questions within board meetings or at conferences that are very sudden, very difficult, quite hard to handle. So I think if you're able to come up with a very quick answer, or if you're not quite able to provide that full answer for them, to be able to give them something and help them out. I think as well it's also very important to have a real grasp and a want to learn as much as possible. Coming from a humanities industry that I studied in, I went into medical and then I went into engineering, so it was very different to what I originally set out to do. So I'm always learning about the new industry, I'm always getting questions about specific books, specific journals, so it's being able to keep on top of that and learning as much as you can. I think the most interesting part of my job is definitely the travelling to conferences. You really get to meet lots of people. I mean, I've just come back from Croatia, which was fantastic. I'm off to America next month to meet new people. And it's just getting an opportunity to talk to the people as well who publish within the journals, the authors, the societies, the institutions, the people who are actually buying the subscriptions. It's really important to speak to them. At the moment within journal publishing, the greatest challenges we have are particularly with open access. It's a really big thing for us at the moment. So what we've done recently is we've just hosted an open access seminar in London, which was just on Monday. So that went really well. It was an opportunity for us to present different views on open access from a society perspective, from a publisher's perspective, from an industry perspective. And there was a lot of work involved in that as well. And particularly from our side, we need to keep abreast of what governments are doing, what sort of policies are going on. If there's any new mandates that come out from the different trusts, we need to make sure we're on top of it. We also need to make sure that we're in the right places, we have the right status, we have the right sort of flexibility for our authors so that they can publish with us. I'm heavily involved within open access, which is a means for people to gain access to content and academic content that they wouldn't necessarily have access to. The working culture of the publishing industry, I would think, is very vibrant, it's very fun, it's very hard-working as well. Everyone's extremely friendly. There's some very healthy competition on as well, which I think is good because it does drive you to work harder and do better. The one thing that I would change about my job is just wishing that I knew all the answers straight away sometimes, but I guess that just comes with time. I do have one bit of advice for people to get into publishing, but I think it's a little bit more than one bit of advice. So definitely get out there, get your work experience, do your research, make sure you're known to everybody, make sure you're signing up for things. Even just getting the office-based skills through temporary jobs will really help you get into that. Just all that research, and again, I would definitely say make sure you spell check everything when you go into publishing. What most excites me about the future of publishing is, particularly with the open access side, as journal publishers we have to be really innovative in the way that we deal with the new policies that are coming out, the new mandates, and I think just adapting to those new situations is the most exciting part.